Michael Malice, the author and political commentator, he wrote a book on North Korea. And the book is pretty bad. It's not really a great book, but there was something in there that stuck out to me. And when I compare it against my own experience, it's very true. He said something to the effect that Kim Il-jong did not view time as a flat plane. He viewed it as a cube that could be shrunk. In other words, time can be shrunken down. And yeah, it's a big fucking metaphysical thing to tackle. But in my own life, that really rings true for a number of reasons. I've lived a very, very, very fast-paced life since about 17 years old when I got fired from the last job that I ever worked, which, if you know my history, I've said over and over again, was the greatest day of my life. I could not fathom dragging my lumpen body back into that office to make another telemarketing call. And when I got fired, I had this alleviation. I had this relief that I had been wanting my whole life that I was scared to take. And that was the idea that now I was a man on my own 2 feet and I am fully responsible for my decisions. And I no longer have to be at anybody else's beck and call. It's all up to me now. There's no plan B. I'm going to start a business and I'm going to give it my all. And I have no problem dying on that sword. And I made that commitment since the age of 17. I have lived multiple thousands of lives since the age of 17, which is 18 years ago. The fortunes that I have made from living fast and outrunning time and also squandered are absolutely staggering. Staggering numbers. I have lost money in a single 24-hour period that some people will never generate or earn in their entire life combined. I have taken their life, the totality of it, and put it in a furnace as an offering to the gods for my mission and watched it be incinerated before my very eyes. I've done that on multiple, many multiple exponential expeditions. This has occurred. I was a hunter. When I quit my job, I became a hunter, a heat-seeking fucking missile, roaming around town, dilly-dallying around town. I had no clue what it was that I was really going to do, but I understood that if I showed up in the real world every day and showed up to the same establishments and made a name for myself and got acquainted with staff members, then I built a little bastion for myself. Right? I had a little alcove where when times were rough, I could walk into a coffee shop and I could always rely on a smile or the care and concern of just your average worker. And it's very important as a man to have a stronghold in the real world. It's easy to have a footprint online, but when you are established at an actual location and you have home turf, home court advantage is what I call it, you are really a force to be reckoned with after a certain point, because you don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to take the money that you have and you have to be willing to spend it and develop that customer loyalty. And then when you're in there every day, you got motherfuckers popping out of cupboards. You got fucking people coming out from the back, shaking your hand, giving you fucking pats on the back. And then everyone's looking. Now, all of a sudden, you become a main character. All of a sudden, you become a player. Because you're sitting in this establishment and people, the patrons are wondering, who the fuck is this guy? Why is everybody saying hi? So that's like instant status. Something very, very simple. If you're a young man, you don't have much going on, you have to fucking get some home turf. You know what I mean? Like a place where you can bring dates, a place where you can bring fucking prospects, where you can close deals. I've said it 100 times. I'll say it again. Doing handshake deals or fucking even contracts on the back of fucking cocktail napkins. That shit's not going out of style, fellas. It's just not. Like, there's a certain romance to that that's just never gonna fucking die out. And unfortunately, like those of you that grew up in the internet age, you've sort of missed the eclipse. You've missed sort of that. It's a very electric feeling when you're in an establishment and you have taken really good care of the people in there. Let me explain it like this. If you are established at a certain spot, I don't care if it's a restaurant. I don't even give a fuck if it's a rinky-dink coffee shop. After a certain point, you feel like those are your people that you are serving and taking care of. The roles flip. I'm no longer there because I care about the fucking service. I'm there because now those are my people. I enjoy tipping them. I enjoy fucking shaking the busboy's hand because I know they get fucking bombed on all fucking day by bellicose patrons. And so you sort of you get in your own sort of service habitat where you're propagating and reinforcing this sort of divine energy. And it does come back in spades. The fast relations that I have made in those places are actually unbelievable. In the book that I'm writing, I have segments on the wily characters that I've run into in restaurants. And, you know, jumping on jets with them 2 days later, massive investors investing in my fucking gambling business after meeting them for 30 minutes. I've just had a lot of serendipitous chance encounters just roving around the real world. Now, obviously, there's a presence that you have to have, which is why I always say if you're a young cat, you want to build an identity around performance. And for me, that was always the athlete. You know, Olympic lifting gives you a very unique build, gives you a very unique body structure. When people look at you in real life, they can tell you're an athlete. Huge traps, huge glutes, huge legs, small waist, big shoulders, big forearms. Complete opposite of the bodybuilder, sort of Frankensteinian, where it just looks like every muscle group is just kind of glued together. You develop a very distinct look that people just kind of look at this guy like, yeah, this dude definitely looks like a fucking athlete. So that was like that drew a lot of attention for me in my early 20s because very few Olympic lifting wasn't even mainstream until CrossFit made it famous. So CrossFit comes on the scene. It makes Olympic lifting famous. Then you had a bunch of people jumping into Olympic lifting. I was into Olympic lifting about 3 or 4 years before CrossFit went mainstream. So the physique that I was developing from that was just very, it was just very unique. You didn't really see dudes with like massive fucking traps and shoulders, big forearms and big legs. You saw the opposite. Dudes with huge biceps, huge pecs, not very developed backs and shit. And I know, you know, I always fucking lambast aesthetics and shit because I have every right to do so. But obviously there is an important component to not really the aesthetics, but just the performance and the functionality. You know what I mean? Like I was very extremely fucking athletic. I'm 6'1", but I could dunk a basketball when I was 22 just because I could snatch 300 pounds. So like my vertical increased, just a lot of fucking performance metrics I was able to hit because Olympic lifting carries over. I'm also fast as fuck. Can run a super fucking fast sprint, and I'm not even a sprinter because I'm just practicing those fast twitch muscle explosive movements. So my point in telling you guys all this is that you have to understand how time is extremely the experience of time is very different for different people. It's not, we don't all have the same 24 hours in a day. That's one of the greatest lies and mythological fallacies that's been promoted. It's completely false. If you're a high status male, let's take any fucking NBA player. Those guys, when they meet a woman, that woman is head over heels in love with that man in literally 5 minutes. In 5 minutes. He doesn't even have to take her on a second date. She's in love. She's locked in. She ain't going anywhere. If he wants to make that his chick, she's in. 5 minutes in. Meanwhile, the average guy has to date a chick for a year to get serious. Like literally date a chick for a year and break his fucking back, making money and taking her on dates and shit, traveling. Takes the average guy a year for a woman to really fucking be like all in committed. Takes a fucking high status guy 5 minutes. So who's warping time in that scenario? Who's stepping into a wormhole and literally changing the fabric of reality? The high status guy. So time, you want to talk about time travel. Time does 100% speed the fuck up the more power you have in the world. You can live many, many, many lifetimes in 24-hour periods. You know what I mean? Like, I would go bust on a massive bet. I would rock up to a bar. Next thing I know, 20 minutes later, I'm sitting in a chick's hammock, sitting in a woman's hammock, squeezing limes into my fucking sparkling water. How did I get there? I have no fucking clue. But all I know is that time is not equal by any measure. You'll also notice something very interesting, and that's that people who live very slow lives, people who build wealth very slowly, maybe they have just an ordinary job, maybe they're making 50K a year, whatever, they're stacking their money. They don't really have a risk appetite. They're not really adventurous. Their whole life is really just about comporting themselves for the comfort of death, right? Like, they're concerned about growing old and not having resources and dying alone and not having money for healthcare. Like, that's the majority of people. Majority of people, they're living their day to day to prepare for their inevitable death. And they're hoping that the day they die, they can just die as comfortable as possible. That's why they're amassing wealth. They're not amassing wealth because they want to amplify their business. They're not amassing wealth because they want to amplify their vision. They're amassing wealth for the inevitability of a health crisis that they can take care of themselves and die maybe not in as much pain. That's literally the average person. That's their unconscious mechanism at work. That's why they don't take risks. It's why they're afraid to lose. It's why they're afraid of loss. It's why they're afraid. It's all a fear of death. And it's all cloaked in a lot of these psychic defenses and very bizarre patterns and nervous tics and quirks in order to prevent that from happening. Then you have the other flip side of the coin, the people who don't give a fuck, the people who are not afraid of death, the people who understand that you die every night you go to bed and you wake up with a new day. Guys like me. I go to bed every day and I have journeyed through the entire pantheon of human emotion from morning to night. My rises and falls throughout the day are fucking wicked. I go from terror to euphoria to vacillating between absolute fucking bellicose rage to mirth and lighthearted laughter. Like, that's the sliding scale of emotions that I feel on a daily basis is immense because of the way I choose to live my life, which is as a hunter, which is as somebody who does not have any fear of loss, which is somebody that does enjoy risk taking and does enjoy the thrill of the ride. Because I'll tell you something, anytime I have ever lost a monumental amount of money that meant a lot to me, or I lost a relationship that meant a lot to me, it's amazing how you're able to pick yourself up the next day and just be grateful that the next day exists. It's that simple. It's a very bizarre thing. Like, I could lose 10 million bucks in a day and then somehow wake up the next day and I just love the game so much and I have so much fucking conviction in myself that I just know I'm just going to go get that back somehow. I don't know how, but I know I will because I just don't quit. Quitters never win. There was a very funny tongue-in-cheek post by Ben Westgate on Twitter. I'm sure a lot of you guys follow him. He's probably the second largest smoking advocate besides myself. And he's a funny guy, but he's also whip smart. And he had a tweet that was, like I said, it was tongue-in-cheek, but it had some parochial wisdom in it. And someone had tweeted something about how someone was trying to defend quitting smoking in his comments. And they were like, yeah, my grandfather, he quit. He was a 2-pack-a-day smoker for 50 years, and he quit after like 50 years, and then he had emphysema and he died. And Westgate quote tweeted it, and he's like, he only got emphysema because he quit. If he would have kept smoking, he never would have gotten it. And then he said something to the effect of like, quitters never win. And that is like a very crude tweet, but there's some fucking raw wisdom in that. Quitters never fucking win. Even when what you're doing does seem destructive, if you are industrious enough, you can sort of change the temporal portal of life, and you can really sort of manipulate your reality and make things work even when they're not supposed to work. That's like that's the magic tapestry of life right there. It's alchemy. It's putting yourself in situations that seem unbearable, and it's alchemizing them into something beautiful. You know, like Rumpelstiltskin spinning wheat into gold. That's what men do. Men take wheat and they turn it into gold, and they do it routinely. At least successful people do. At least successful people do. So my life, even in the last 2 years, it feels like I've lived 200 of them. I would say in the last year particularly, it feels like I've lived 200 fucking lives. With the amount of money that's come through my hands, the investor relationships I've created, the fucking hardships, the morass, the turmoil, the turbulence, the maelstroms. Like, I have been through it all. I've cycled through the entire panoply of almost human experience. I've almost like grokked it. It's like been in my possession, even if it was for moments at a time. And I say this because here's what's interesting. If you notice anybody who lives a very fast life, who's redlining all the fucking time and really obsessed with sort of maximizing their human limits and potential, because that's really what I'm about. At the end of the day, I'm all about maximizing human potential and pushing back against what you're supposed to be on paper. Like, if your genetics are garbage, there's a transcendental factor of the human experience that you are not taking into account, which is that the human spirit is able to transcend genetics, which I think is unbelievable. And I think that should give everybody strength and hope every day, that no matter what kind of hand you're dealt. And by the way, God deals relatively fair hands. Like, God deals fair hands. And what I mean by that is, like, you'll get a guy like Mike Tyson, who's a fucking pugilist, who will knock your block off. But then God crafted his vocal cords to sound like a 13-year-old virgin. Like, the guy literally sounds like a little girl when he talks. And it's like ironic. Like, arguably one of the greatest fucking boxers ever, at least power punchers. And the dude's got that kind of voice. So, like, God levels the playing field. Like, anybody who's industrious or any titan of industry has severe defects, and we all have an Achilles heel. Everybody has an Achilles heel. It doesn't matter how great you are. It doesn't matter how stand above you are from the common cloth. Like, you have an Achilles heel, and I think it's really important to reconcile what that is very early in life, and figure out what your blemish is, because God factors it into everybody. I mean, there's no such thing as a fucking flawless creation, not, at least not in human form. And I think understanding and accepting that imperfection in every man is unbelievably empowering. Like, understanding the imperfections in myself, and then understanding that, hey, I never had to remove these imperfections. I never actually had to spend any time making incisions in the personality traits that have held me back. All I had to do was focus on the shit that I'm great at, and it overshadows all those imperfections. Like, that's the pursuit of excellence and the pursuit of greatness. That's what that is. It's not about whitewashing your imperfections. It's about magnifying and making the things you're good at so fucking good that you don't even notice the character defects that you have. That's a very committed, one-dimensional approach, which is masculine. That's like a masculine undertaking right there, is maximizing one fucking thing. Balance and harmony is much more of a feminine energy. It just is. The masculine is extremely funneled, and it's a concentration of energy down one galley. Like, that's what the masculine energy is. It's a concentration. It's a ray of energy that just absolutely fucking obliterates whatever the fuck that talent is. That's your ray. Balance and shit. Yeah, women love all that stuff. Women love balance and harmony, but men don't, typically. So I'm going to open the floor here. I want to sort of springboard off this. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave that to the end. Yo, JC, what's up, buddy?
So you talked about in the beginning there, the way to, I guess, to have a long-term relationship is for the wife or your girl to be in on the mission with you, right? And the first thing I thought about there is, I guess a lot of people, a lot of guys like, okay, the mission is like the family, like we're going to have a family together. Do you think that's realistic, or do you think it has to be something more? Like it has to be a business venture. It can't just be that simple. I'm curious,
No,
like what you're.
no, dude, it's the opposite. The family itself, if that's the mission, it's going to rot within, dude. There has to be something much broader in scope, from my experience.
Right. No, that's exactly what I thought, and that's why I wanted to ask, because
So
that was the
like,
first.
if you refer back to my last spaces, I gave a very vivid illustration of what a very powerful mission a man's life looks like, and it's extremely conflicting. See, here's the push pull between the masculine and the feminine, right? You got a guy who's completely hell bent on his mission, whatever the fuck that is. I don't give a fuck if he's a painter, if he's painting murals, could literally be anything. See, that's what people don't understand too. Is like what makes a man attractive is simply his commitment to his mission. It really doesn't matter how grand that is in scale. Like, not everybody has to be an alpha bad boy sharpshooter to have a woman absolutely madly in love with them. The guy just has to be focused on whatever the fuck he's doing. Literally, the guy could be fucking making necklaces from puka shells on the beach in Hawaii. And if that dude is obsessed with that shit 10 hours a day, hucking that shit on the side of the road, I guarantee you that guy has a better chance of having a woman fall in love with him than any other fucking dude who's got his hands in like 30 other tills and can't fucking commit to one thing. It's just they love a man who is just putting their craft over them. And that's the whole balance. Like, a woman's job is to whittle you down to a nub. It is their job. They are hardwired to test you and grind you down, especially when they love you. They will fucking just try to destroy you on a daily basis, because that's the yin and yang. When a woman loves you, she has to attempt to destroy you. She has to. She has to, because I'll tell you why. If she can't successfully destroy you, then you've proven that you're worthy of her love. So it's like all these guys will be on their mission, and then they can't take the testing that their women are giving them, and they end up giving up the mission. They abdicate the throne, they abdicate their responsibility, and then guess what? Now they have no mission and they have no woman. Now
Yep.
they lost everything. So, dude, it has to be something that's 100% greater than the family. And I promise you, if it is something that is divinely committed, like I'm talking about, it's gonna cause conflict with your woman. It's going to. And when she's upset and she's furious that you're not emotionally available, you're not giving her enough time, you're a workaholic, you work too much, why are you traveling? That is confirmation and reaffirmation that what you are doing is correct.
100%. I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. I had a chick in my early 20s. I was living real crazy at the time, like living out in my cousin's spot, riding buses, like broke as a nail. And I met this chick. I was obsessed with photography at the time, and everything changed when I decided I'm going to try and play house with her. And I bring her into my space, and I completely neglect everything else I was doing. It was like black and white. Everything just crumbled in a couple of months, and it was a healthy and humbling experience. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had because of everything I learned from it. But I couldn't agree more with what you're saying, man.
Exactly, dude. It's like women can't come out and directly, overtly tell you to your face what you're doing is correct. They have to do it in a way of like subterfuge. They have to do it in a trickster kind of way, because women can't be direct. They can't afford to. They're the weaker species. So they have to use psychic warfare to penetrate and get what they want. So it's like the more a woman is here's what's very strange. The more a woman is complaining about a behavior, the more she most likely likes that behavior.
Mm.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
dude, there's alcoholics that come home every night from work and they drink themselves into a fucking blood drunken rage. And Dude, I'm telling you, like, women don't leave those kind of guys. It's actually unbelievable. Like, those alcoholic types who are like really fucked up every day, the chicks stay with them forever because
Right.
they're not tameable. Because they're not tameable. So that's the lesson there. The lesson there is not to be a belligerent idiot. The lesson there is just to not be tameable, because whatever their commitment to the alcohol. That's why I'm saying, dude, it could be something so trivial. It could be something so lame and so unimportant. Like literally, if a guy's committed more to drinking than he is to his woman, he's got that woman for life. This is how it works.
Absolutely, man. And to give you another example, because what you're talking about, I'm trying to think back when this was, I was like 24, 25. I didn't understand any of this. And when I came out of the whole situation, like I found the red pill space and whatnot, and I went down that rabbit hole. And that was kind of cool for a while until like started poking holes in that. And a couple months ago, I moved across the country to take a solopreneur job selling solar out here in California. So I'm going around door to doors. I'm living out of Airbnbs. I'm sleeping in rental cars sometimes. And I've never had so much on the line. And at the same time, I've never had so much action in my life. Money,
Mm-hmm.
women, everything. And it's funny
Mm-hmm.
it's really funny how that works. And that's what I get a lot of times just out of listening to your spaces is I think back, I'm like, I went through that at 21, or I'm going through that right now. And it's just funny how that shit manifests. It's wild. So, yeah, I can't agree more with what you're saying, man. I appreciate that perspective.
Yep. Thanks, brother.
Yo,
Yo, Pierre.
what's up, Brute? Thanks for letting me on. I'm gonna reaffirm what you said real quick before I ask a question. Um, I never really struggled with women in my entire life since maybe like as soon as I could, because I was always so hyper focused from a young age. I was forced to, and then I went through the same experience as homeboy that was talking before, and it literally just happened last week. So I just want to point that out. But I want to say this: you got folks like Jordan Peterson, I would say, which not really a fan of him, but you can say that he's become sort of a spokesperson because of how good he is at communicating. And personally, I feel like you're 20 times better than Jordan Peterson at communication. I feel like that's a great skill to have. Did you do anything to get those kind of communication skills, or has it just been years of relaying your experiences to other people that got you to be able to communicate like that?
That's exactly what it is, man. It was innate, and it's perfect you asked that, because I'm just doubling down on my strengths. I never cared about math. I never cared about any subject other than language and communication, because I was always good at it. So I just fucking ran off to the races with that and took it by the reins and said, you know what? I'm just going to maximize the fuck out of this. Dude, there is nothing more powerful than being good at the English language on planet Earth. Like fuck being a lawyer, fuck being a doctor. If there's one fucking skill that you would pray to God that you had, it's good at fucking communication skills. There's just nothing better. And here's the thing, like it's an infinite quest. Like there's no way to truly master the English language, which is what's so great about it. You can always fucking refine it. I've just spent zero time refining it. I don't know, man. Like when I would read books and I would see words I didn't understand, I could just understand what the word meant by context clues. I never had to fucking crack open a thesaurus, never had to look up definitions. I would just read a word and I would just incorporate it into the mainframe of my mind, and that's it, man. Like that's how it happened for me. So I mean, like
100%.
it's crazy, because if you're not a natural master at English, I do think it's very hard to grapple with. It is a difficult fucking language to master, especially if it's not your first language. It's fucking difficult to master if it is your first language.
So I'll say this. At least I think that I am gifted in English. And every time I listen to you talk, I learn 5 different words. And I only say that because the way that I figured out I was gifted at speech in English was kind of weird. It was kind of just me throwing myself in there. When the pandemic hit, I mean, I'm around 19, 20. Friend comes up to me with like a network marketing scheme, but he doesn't really tell me what it is. He just says, hey, we're selling this. So my ass, I'm like, okay, cool. I call everybody on my phone 20, 30 minutes later, and I live in Texas, so no heavy rules. 20, 30 minutes later, I'm at a coffee shop. There's 20, 30 people. And he's like, oh, well, tell them what we do. I'm like, but you just brought me on today. So I end up giving a speech and launching 20, 30 people under this info product. And I'm like, hold on, I can do this shit. So I get on and I start creating. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm gifted at speech. I start doing 100, 200 person webinars like within a week or two. I'm like, okay. But I attribute it to the fact that I didn't really have much growing up. I would read. Like by the time I was in 5th grade, I had read hundreds of books already. And then I hear people like you speaking. I'm like, hold on, let's see if there's a practice behind that. But I never really practiced either. It's just kind of living. So
Yep.
appreciate it.
Just living and articulating your experiences. Let me give you the flip side to that, because this is also fascinating. If you're a poor communicator, here's what happens: you become a fighter. People who get into street fights, people who are obsessed with calling people out and challenging them to fights, their communication skills are so bad. They're so frustrated they can't get what they want in life. So the last resort is, if I can't communicate with you to get what I want, I'm just going to fight you for it. That's the mentality of people who do not wield the English language, who are not a wizard with words. And it's it's extremely fucking pervasive. Look at that. That's why, dude. That's why. Fuck. That's why. Let's look at it this way: people who steal, thieves, right? Are even a thief don't like a thief. Like, thieves are universally frowned upon.
Right.
Here's why: when somebody steals something from somebody without permission, what that is demonstrating is that your communication skills suck. You don't know how to get what you want in life, because there's other people who get what they want through the art of sales. Like, a guy who's good at sales gets everything that the guy who's stealing gets, but he gets it with permission.
Right.
That's the difference. That's why that guy gets accolades and the other guy ends up in jail, because there's a fucking breakdown there. So it's like, all you proved when you use deception like that and take money from somebody like that is you've proven that your communication skills are horrendous.
100%. I think a reflective concept of that is that a lot of times you'll have somebody that's maybe looks better naturally, and he won't know how to talk to girls for shit. He can't speak even. Like, he'll choke up right away, and he'll drop the girl. He won't be able to pick her up. And then you'll see somebody that's butt ass ugly, that's been forced to develop wicked communication skills and charisma, walk in and do, what he couldn't. So appreciate you.
Dude, yeah, of course, bro. Appreciate you too. Realizing true self. What's up, man?
Yeah. So I think I remember you saying one time where you were like, wear your heart on your sleeve, because that's usually where you'll find exactly what you need to do. And I have so it's like this innate thing that I know that I need to do, but I'm just kind of scared to take that first step to do it. Is there anything you can say that to just block that off and just keep it pushing?
For wearing your heart on your sleeve?
Yeah, like because we all, I feel like, as a whole, like, as a man, that you should be doing something that could take you to the next level, but you're just kind of scared to do it. What can you do to just push through that and just keep going, like, just to not care and just do it?
So you have to only pursue things that you actually want, which sounds so fundamental, but it's not, because here's what most guys do. Most guys intentionally pursue things they don't want, because if you get something that you truly don't want, or let's take it to the next level. Let's say you fail at trying
Right.
something, like a goal. Maybe it's a goal you have in your head that you want to hit, but you don't really care about the goal, right? You don't really give a fuck. It's just a box you want to check. If you are pursuing goals that you genuinely don't give a fuck about, you not only are never going to be good at it, but even worse, what happens is you'll purposely fail because you didn't really want it in the first place, and it doesn't hurt as bad. Like, rejection and failure hurts so bad. It hurts the male heart when you pursue something that you really, really wanted and you fail. It hurts. It stings. And most guys don't want to feel that pain. So they purposely go after women that they're really not even attracted to, low-hanging fruit, women that are beneath them, because those women will tolerate and put up with behavior that ordinarily they wouldn't be able to get away with. So these guys don't want to hold themselves to a high standard, and they don't want to be accountable to themselves. So I urge you to be very careful about pursuing things that you genuinely don't want to do. And it is sort of a tough line to straddle, because a lot of times you think you want it, and then when you get it, you realize you didn't want it in the first place. And that's brutal, because you will piss it away. Like, you should only be dating women that you really genuinely like ones that it will hurt you if they leave. Like, there has to be that risk. Like, there has to be, in order for you to be at the highest level. That's why most of these fucking gym guys are fucking all the ugly chicks, man. Because when those girls leave, they didn't really want them. It doesn't hurt. They don't feel a fucking thing. They don't feel a fucking thing when those women exit their life because they didn't really want it. It's not really the type of chick that they wanted to be with. That's the best way I could articulate it for you. Molly world, what's popping?
I think I can answer your question, that first question you had. So these people, you say you see it on your timeline, you got to keep in mind what age these people are. So they're in
Oh,
their
my first question about virgins.
Yeah, I can answer it. So I mean, I think I know the answer. First off, these people you're following, they're younger, so they're like 20, 21, 22. Chicks 20, 21, 22, they have body counts of like 80 plus. They got a rotation of 15 guys they're fucking at the same time. Why would you want to lock that shit down? Like, of course you're going to go after the younger chick with, like, who doesn't have all that trauma and isn't doing that shit. Like, I don't see why that's hard to understand.
Where does that exist, brother? That's chasing unicorns. Listen to this. Here's the flip side to the coin. Those chicks that you claim have high body counts, guess what? Those chicks don't put up with losers. Those chicks are going for high status men. That's where all the competition is. All the competition, the most beautiful women in the world that have high body counts, guess who they're fucking? They ain't fucking the chumps. That's not happening. They're fucking the NBA guys, the high status motherfuckers, me, guys like that. That's who they're fucking. That's where the
They're on
competition is.
Tinder, though.
So these guys are shirking. Listen, they're shirking from competition, which is I absolutely am the largest ambassador for competition. I think it creates greatness. And if those types of women in the current landscape are holding those men to the highest standard, because bro, the most beautiful chicks with high body counts, they're not fucking losers. But guess who will fuck a loser? A virgin with no frame of reference. Because she has no experience. She'll take you for your little fucking grocery bagger job. You're broke. You're out of shape. She doesn't know any better. That's why the guys like the fucking virgins. That's where that obsession is born from. It's born from the fact that those women don't have any standards because they have no frame of reference. When women have a frame of reference, i.e., a lot of experience, guess what? The competition gets staggering. And these guys don't want to face that. They don't want to face it. Sounds like you don't want to face it.
No, I'm saying if you're younger, if you're 22, why would you get with a chick your age when you could get with a chick that's only like 2 years younger? And how does that not make sense?
So, I mean, bro, what's the difference at the end of the day? Talking 2-3 years? I mean, I'm talking about getting deep inside the fucking psychology of that virgin fantasy, man. And I know for a fact I'm correct.
So do you think that one clip you might have seen where Tate's like, the closer they are to 30, the more baggage they have, like he's just saying that to grift?
No, I don't think he was grifting. I think he's absolutely speaking to a cultivated, curated audience, 100%. I also think that he knows who his people are. He's a smart guy. But I'll tell you one thing, brother. You think Tate was running around town banging virgins? Fuck no. Think the kind of chicks that Tate was pulling off Instagram had fucking low body counts? I guarantee you they don't.
I mean, Tristan talked
Guarantee
about
you.
being with a 16-year-old.
I mean, dude, I don't know anything about that. All I'm telling you is if you have friends that are at the highest echelons of society, none of them, not a single one of them, is concerned with banging virgins. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. It is a utopian fantasy on Twitter. Sounds great in theory. I'm not going to say, look, the theory sounds fucking immaculate. It's an impressive theory because it seems innocuous on the surface. See, the right wing is really good at coming up with innocuous theories that sound incredible in theory, but in practice, they're just a flop, dude. It's just a flop. It just is. And my whole point is, dude, is that most people are using that virgin thing as an excuse to exit the game. You got to play the game that's in front of you. If gender roles are blurred right now and gender roles are fucked up worldwide, which they obviously are, you have to play that game. You don't have a fucking choice. You got to get experience. You got to get your feet wet. You got to get your hands dirty. Like, that's just what it is. The
So
correction
you
will
think
come.
so you
No,
think if
listen,
you're a younger guy and you go after a younger chick instead of a chick your age, that she's not going to be more loyal to you? You think the chick who's seen like 20 guys is going to be more loyal? Like if you're
bro,
younger, I guess it's you like you're already,
it's a good question. It's a good
you know what I
question.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's a good question.
you got to see my point.
I mean, dude, I don't have to see anything, but it's a good question. The thing with that is like every woman, dude, I did a video on this. Every woman is a lot more malleable than a man. That's just a
Right.
fact. Like you can take the most democratic, left-leaning woman, and you can 100% flip her red as fuck. You can make her pivot hard right if you're the right guy. That's just a
For
fact. Like
sure.
when women jump out of a relationship, they are tabula rasa. It's a blank slate. They're ready to be molded and reshaped all over again. So
So
no,
you
dude,
don't think the
I think it's
alpha you don't think the alpha widow thing's real? Think that's bullshit?
no. I mean, there's some
There's
merit to
nuance.
no. There's some merit to all this shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say there's no merit to any of it. I'm just giving you a perspective as a man who I've dated all kinds of women, younger women, older women, everything in between. They're all fucking
Mm-hmm.
great. I love women. They're all fucking great. You know, when I was 22, I was banging a 40-year-old for a long time. She was amazing. She was a fucking former Italian model, took great care of herself. She was tight. She had fucking a great body, beautiful face. Like that whole thing that women are washed after 25 is just absolute nonsense, dude.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
fuck.
I don't believe that shit,
It's
but
nonsense. But I'm gonna move on, bro. Thank you for the question. That was a good one. Yo, Nazar.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for letting me speak. Just want to touch on what you said about the virgin thing. I completely agree. It's a way of people, stepping out of the game. But what are your thoughts on wifing up a virgin? Because I heard a rumor. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but if a girl is getting dicked down 20, 30 times, she has a high body count. I've heard that the dicks leave imprints in her pussy.
Yeah, you're talking about micro chimerism. Yes,
Yeah.
I do believe there's probably an element of truth to that, bro. But here's the deal: there are those types of women who are experienced are absolutely capable of falling in love with a strong, powerful man. It's a fact. I've seen it over and over and over again. They don't really have loyalty issues. There's a malleable component here that people aren't taking into account, which is that women are a reflection of you. So it doesn't matter what a woman's history is as much like your history as a man, believe it or not, is more important than a woman's history because your history is what created you. A woman's history can be wiped with one swipe of the hand like a fucking Etch-a-Sketch, and that shit's at ground zero again, ready to be rebaked, ready to be recreated. Women jump out of relationships and they are completely ready to be recreated. That's why they go on those enlightenment journeys and start fucking drinking smoothies and doing yoga and shit. You know what they're doing? They're cleansing themselves so they can go back and find the baddest boy possible. That's what they're doing. All those chicks who go on those enlightenment journeys, like they'll fucking go get tents, they'll go camping, they'll go start getting dirty, they go vegan, they start fucking eating fruits and shit, start, doing gratitude astrology. All those chicks are basically using that as a training ground to go find the baddest motherfucker possible when they come out of it. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. That's all they want. Like, dude, I've been with plenty of women who I have no fucking clue what their body counts were. But I'll tell you something. I've never had any issues in my entire life getting a woman to behave in a way that was constructive for our relationship. I've never had an unruly woman cross my path. I've just never seen it. Never seen it.
Got you. What are
So
your thoughts on?
it's more of a reflection of you than it is of her, man. That's what these guys don't really want to, because dude, all the accountability's on us. Like that's just how it is, man. I mean, to some degree, like I don't even want to say it. You have to categorize women and children in somewhat of the same capacity, if that makes sense. I do believe that. I 100% believe that. I can
So
go on and on and on for examples of how women and children should be. Like, women and children deserve to be happy. I believe that. I believe women and children should protect their innocence and they should be happy. When I say protect their innocence, I mean women should not be exposed to the workforce. They shouldn't be fucking working 8 hours on their feet in restaurants and shit, getting fucking slaughtered by, like, that's just, that definitely is going to wear down a woman's femininity. 100%. Like, women and children deserve to be happy. That's like something that I stand for. Men, not so much. Men really don't deserve to be happy because miserable men built the empire that you and I are speaking in right now. Miserable men built the channels of communication that's allowing us to have this conversation. Men who literally had the weight collapsing upon their shoulders and they refused to put their emotions first. That's who's done it. That's who's erected all the skyscrapers, all the technology, everything, dude. It's a bunch of fucking miserable men who were probably tortured souls who had no choice but to invent, be industrial, and fucking create. That's what we do. That's the burden that we bear as men. Remember I said in my last space, you can either be effective or happy. It's your choice, but you can't be both. Can't be both. You know what we get as men? We get to settle for happy moments, which is the best part. Like, we get to thoroughly enjoy moments, and then those moments go away, and then they come back again. And that's what makes the golden times so special for us, because our whole lives are not happy. But we do get moments that are so fucking juiced, full of fucking joy and happiness. I'll fucking settle for that all day. I would rather have happy moments than a happy life. Because if I have a happy life as a man, there is 0% chance I am pushing myself to my highest capabilities. Literally zero. All right, Crypto Capo, I know you've been wanting to talk for a while here. What do you got?
Yo,
what do you got for me?
yo, I can't believe I'm on your stage right now. Let's go. I listen to these every morning in the gym. So what you were just saying, men, a life of suffering. You've also tweeted, and I know you get hyperbolic occasionally, but you've also tweeted that men who aren't following their own desire, I'm paraphrasing here, but men who aren't following their own desires are fucking lying to themselves. And you're living with a girl you hate, and you're working a job you hate, and you could be injecting testosterone straight up your ass, and your hormones will still be fucked up. But on the other hand, we just talked about how men basically live lives of, like, quiet desperation. And, like, I honestly agree with both fucking takes, dude. Like, my the truth is, I started listening to these spaces a lot after I had this crazy conversation with a couple friends. We happened to eat a handful of mushrooms, but that's aside from the point. The question was, if you found out you couldn't have kids and you were infertile, what's the next thing you would do? And my two buddies basically agreed that the first thing they would do is quit their jobs. And, like, that is not the jump I would make in my mind, thinking, like, if you're an infertile person, why would you quit your job? And that just leads you to think, like, are we all doing the shit that we hate every day to provide for the ones that we love? And, like, in reality, it's not, like, our truth. Like, you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
It's just a crazy, like, it's a crazy thought. Like, it's basically like finding out you have cancer and you have 3 months to live. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to quit your job and start living for yourself. It's the same thing as if you found out you were straight up infertile. Everyone who's working a job they hate right now in a place they don't want to be, but they're comfortable and surrounded by their family, is because in the back of their mind, I believe, they know they'll have a family. I mean, this came up because I'm having my first kid in a couple months, but it's just it's crazy. Like, you literally touched. You don't even. I don't know if you realized it, but you straight up touched on, like, the dichotomy of man in one tweet, and then like one sentence on the space just now. I don't know if you realized it, but when I saw it, I was like, "Fuck! I gotta hop on stage and see and get your thoughts on anything about what I just said."
Yeah, of course. No, it's good. The one thing I do want to address, dude, is that you have to understand any man who's on an excellent pursuit or a path of glory in life is going to be a walking contradiction. Contradiction is something that's prevalent in all great speakers. It's something in all great thinkers, because great thinkers are constantly challenging themselves and challenging their own truth. So I think contradiction is usually a good sign. Like, I love going on people's pages and seeing them contradict themselves. I don't think that's a negative thing at all. I think people who are unable or unwilling to contradict themselves have a lot of baggage that they're unwilling to sort of wade through. It's not a good sign, man. It's always a great sign when a man is willing to contradict himself, because it shows that he's pushing his intellectual firepower. He's pushing his horses.
Word, I agree.
It's a fucking beautiful thing, man. And that's what art is, right? Like, fundamentally, an artist is someone who is contradicting reality and fantasy. Like, that's just what that is. So, like, I look at everybody as an artist, by the way. I look at everybody as a creator and everybody as an artist. Everybody has an artistic interpretation of reality, and I'm just here sharing my own. So of course it's going to be riven and rife with, inconsistencies and contradictions and Zen koans and Chinese finger traps. Like, that's just built into the equation. That's why conversation is so important, because you sift through these things and you arrive at points. I mean, dude, like, a lot of the things I even say I'm testing my audience. I like to test the intellectual horsepower of my own audience, to see who's rocking with me, who's not. Because ultimately, dude, I don't really want to grow my following. I want to
Word.
whittle it. I want to whittle it the fuck down. I just want my tribe to stick with me, and that's it. I don't really need 100,000 followers. Give me fucking 20 hardcore soldiers who are gonna fight with me in any endeavor, and I'm a happy fucking camper.
Word.
So
Yeah.
I'm testing motherfuckers all the time, bro. Some of my tweets are intentionally fucking testing people's limits, and then I see the fish just jump right into the comment section. I'm like, there he is. I got him. And there's
Sure.
people out there who know what I'm doing when I'm tweeting. Some guys are fucking clever and shrewd and sharp, and they're like, I see what Brute's doing. Some guys don't.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even like trying to point out the contradiction. I was honestly glad to hear you say what you just said, because when you see a tweet or whatever, like if you're not living for solely yourself, you're not living type of mentality. And then you realize, like, I guess I'm not living 100% for myself. If it was up to just me, it'd be me, my girl, we'd be in Europe. I'd have a fast car and an Xbox, and that would be that. But in reality, like, we're in our apartment, we're saving money, we're fucking, it's like, you're not living 100% for you. But to hear, to kind of hear you talk about what you were just speaking about with the last speaker, and give cadence to that was dope. So I definitely like the fact that you could take both sides of something, because life isn't so simple as one side fits all. But yeah, dude, keep doing what you're doing. I'm definitely one of the 20 if it gets to that point.
That is correct. I appreciate you, bro. I will tell you, the most painful aspect of being a man by far is when you are so engrossed with your mission and your work, you are jaded to a degree. Like, it's very hard to receive the love of a woman. It's very hard to receive the accolades and attention. Like, my inbox is filled every fucking day with dudes just telling me how fucking great I am. And I don't take it to my head, because I'm unable to, because I'm so focused on my work, if that makes sense. And so, like,
100%.
that's the most difficult part of being a man, is like, you can have a woman who genuinely loves you so dearly and would do anything for you. You have cohesion in your family structure. But when you come home from a brutal day of grinding your gears and figuring out your work, you're somewhat unreceptive to it. And that's fucking painful to wrestle with. Like, you're getting everything you want, but you might not be able to receive it in the way that you want to, because, dude, life jades men. Life jades men. Time jades men. That's what it does. And I'll tell you, like, the benefits of that are that you become desensitized to the things that would shatter and cripple an ordinary person. That's the fucking greatest part about being a man, dude. Is like you go through this journey long enough. You've seen so much, you've experienced so much, you're so kind of jaded to it all that like when bad shit happens to you, you can literally just fucking chuckle because you're just
Yep.
like you could just chuckle through it because you're just like this would absolutely this would make an ordinary person jump off the fucking Golden Gate Bridge, but for me, I'm just gonna keep it moving.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
that's just how it works, dude. It's like that's why like the man on the mountain. We have all these archetypes in ancient lore and folk heroes. That's why they're always older, because older men have that luxury of just being jaded by time, which means they're desensitized to the things that would throw like a younger guy right on his ass. That's why everybody goes to older men for wisdom,
Mm,
because they're
that's
callous. Because they're
that's
callous. They're
that's a
fucking
good point,
callous,
bro.
dude. Yeah.
And my girl's looking at me, listening to this, and she's probably thinking that I've literally said like everything you've just said. Like I lost my dad when I was younger. I've similar to tweets that you've tweeted. I mean, many of us in crypto ran up a bag and blew it like 7 figures up and down in 1 or 2 days, and then you think like, how the fuck do you get like? It's almost like insane that you can go through these things and just get out of bed in the morning the next day and like just go to work or just be a person, you know? And then you know, it's crazy, honestly. It's crazy the amount of callous that it takes eventually to become the man that you want to be.
That's
But
all it is. That's all it is, dude.
it is my time to watch a movie with this one, so I'm gonna jump. But I appreciate you having me on here, bro.
Yep, got you, bro. Thank you. Yo, Gavin.
Hey, I appreciate it. So I'll be honest, a lot of the questions I've already had were very answered through just self-analysis, but something I did want a bit more context on was, what if you don't know what you don't know? For example, I'm a lot more younger than most people in the space, and there's a lot of experiences that I haven't had yet.
Yeah, so what are you asking me?
So like you said, it's a very black and white question, but take, for example, like a lot of experiences in business. How do you deal with not knowing what you don't know? Like,
I'll tell you how. You got to go up against better opponents than you in life at a young age. Meaning you have to get embroiled and involved in deals with people who are smarter than you, sharper than you, more shrewd than you, more clever than you. You have to put yourself up against opponents who can fucking crush you to dust. That's how you get good at anything. That's what I did in my 20s. I was hustling with sharks, motherfuckers who'd been in the game a lot longer than me. I got my ass kicked on 100 fucking deals in a row before I started to become more like them. That's the thing, dude. That's the whole fucking game right there, is you gotta pick fucking badass opponents. You have to. You gotta wrestle with those types of guys, because you're never gonna fucking learn the game. You're never gonna understand how far some people are willing to go to win. Some people will literally do anything to be victorious. Those guys are out there. They will do anything. They'll do a lot more than you will. And you need to find those guys and learn from them. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I agree with that, because I think what I need to do right now is bite off more than I can chew.
Dude, you can't, as a young guy, you will go nowhere very fast. You'll be a sinking piece of driftwood if you only hang out with guys your age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at any young guy who's successful, they hung out with a guy at least 10, 15, 20 years older as a mentor. It's just fucking mandatory, man. It's just
Yeah.
mandatory. Yeah, it's mandatory. Yo, defund. What's going on?
Hey, Brute. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate you. Great spaces, real quick. A lot of the people speaking today been younger guys, 20s, mid-20s max. My question is for somebody in their early to mid-30s. Does anything change vis-a-vis what you're saying? Or is it the same advice? Or is it more of, well, you're not young anymore, you don't have that much time, etc., etc., so maybe take a little bit of an L and try to play it safe?
No, you're not young in your 20s either. Don't get me wrong. I think you're a full-grown man by the time I mean, realistically, you want to like go off of my scale, I think you're a grown-ass man when you're like 16. I mean, that's really how it is. In your mid-30s, dude, what happens is, because I'm in my mid-30s, is the desire, it becomes more of a slog to maintain the desire
Right.
a little bit. Like the same gusto that I had to get myself in the gym when I was 20 is a
Right.
little bit different at 35. And you have to wrestle with those forces on a daily basis.
Right.
Because like I said, you get kind of jaded after a while. It's like, do I really need to snatch 300 pounds anymore? Not really.
Right.
But I do it because I want to, I don't want to fucking lose my edge.
Right.
I don't want to lose my edge. And look at all the older dudes who are in their even 50s and 60s that are like Clydesdales. They just don't die.
Right.
They're just, they don't fucking die. Why do they maintain that youthful energy? Why do you think that is?
So, assuming that was, I think there's two things. I think one is, and I don't know if you have got a long line of people wanting to talk, and then I'll stop. But I think a lot of it is if you're in your mid to late 20s or early 30s, and you've got a couple of wins under your belt, and you talked a lot about 100 deals going south, and the general trend is a lot of things will not work out for you, and then you get better and better, and then things start to play out for you, and then you're ahead of the game, and it's kind of a, it's not a linear curve, but it's kind of an exponential curve, and I agree. And it seems like if you kind of have a few wins under your belt, then it gets easier to kind of build that drive because you've seen some success. And then in your 40s and your 50s, it kind of carries on. So answering your question, that's what I've seen. To have these guys continually pushing in their 40s and 50s, they would have had to seen some success in their early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes
Mm-hmm. I anticipate 40s being the golden age, by the way. I think 40s for men is probably the best decade of their life if you did it right,
right,
if you stayed in shape and you maintained your health.
right,
I mean, dude, health is really the cornerstone of this whole fucking
absolutely,
thing, right? It's the linchpin. Like if you're when you're healthy, your entire outlook on life changes. And when you're unhealthy, you have a fucked up mentality. It's just that simple. So anybody who's a fucking trailblazer or who's out there and has a sort of an optimistic fervor for life is a healthy man in my book. Like there's no way you can be physically healthy and also be mentally spirited. Those things go hand in hand. So when someone has an ugly mentality, sort of a grotesque, sort of self-effacing viewpoint on life, I know that's not a healthy individual.
right,
Physically.
right. 100. Thanks so much, man.
Yep. Let's get Rico. Rico's been wanting to talk for a while. Rico, what's up, buddy?
Yo, you hear me?
Yep.
All right, bro. So I'm moving my business across country right now. I'm in the process of driving down to Florida. You were talking about how, like, in your early 20s, you were getting connected with sharks and dealing with those type of players in the game and whatnot. And I was just wondering, how do you get involved with those type of characters? Because, I mean, I had business up north and whatnot, but, like, there was really nobody to lay a blueprint or anybody that I could really connect with that was like a player in the game like I want to be. So I was just wondering how you get connected with those type of folks.
You have to get off the internet and you have to meet them in the stronghold that I was talking about earlier, which is like your establishment that you have on lockdown. That's where you meet these types of people. Because there's sharks on the internet for sure, but most of those guys that you're going to really learn from with that real world gritty experience, they're out there in the real world, man. They're still doing dinners. They're still making they're still showing up. They're still showing up every day in the real world. Like that's the whole thing, dude, is like you're never going to get it online. Online is a surrogate. Here's the deal, bro. Most people have done social media ass backwards. You're supposed to get a lot of real world experience, rough and tumble. Get a lot of. Bro, can you mute that, please? Thank you. You're supposed to get a lot of real world experience, rough and tumble, take your licks, and then you're supposed to come online and share those experiences. That's what makes you interesting. If you really want to create a brand, that's who you have to be. These guys are doing it in reverse. They're coming online, essentially becoming clones of the bigger accounts. You know how many fucking brute tweets I see every fucking day? People are just recycling my material all over the fucking timeline. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, these guys don't understand how bad they're cucking themselves doing that. They're cucking themselves real bad because they're trying to build an avatar online, and then they think if they get success and money online, then they're going to re-inject themselves in the real world and everything's going to pan out fine. It's the exact opposite. You got to become somebody in the real world and then come online. That's what makes you that if you want legendary status, that's how you have to do it. That's how you have to do it. If you're talking about like a personal brand. Don't fucking come on here and start mimicking and parroting other people and trying to fucking put it in your own words. There's so many guys doing that right now, and that's on its way out. People are understanding there's a consensus right now in social media where look at all the tools people don't take advantage of. How many people do you see running spaces? How many people do you see doing videos? Nobody. Because these guys have nothing to fucking say. They got nothing to say. They can sit there and fucking tweet all day, but they can't get in front of the camera. They can't fucking host the spaces right now with 700 people in here? They can't do it because they have no real world experience. So that's the fucking grand differentiator right now is social media is going to make an accelerated push towards the people who did deal with the sharks, towards the people who do have the stories to tell in the real world. The social media is going to fall in their lap. You're going to be sitting on a pot of gold in about 1 or 2 years. You watch. The guys who are going to come on here and fucking share their real world shit, those guys are going to make out like bandits. And the guys who can't twist and turn and corkscrew the multimedia are going to get absolutely fucking annihilated. Like the days of just being able to post and write in writing, that's going to fucking die out. People are going to want more of an authentic experience, especially when it comes to a personal brand. People are going to want to hear you speak. People are going to want to see you on camera. Is this guy who he says he is? People can ascertain that shit very quickly when they listen to you speak. That's why nobody's doing spaces. Because people will figure out in 2 seconds you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. you know what I mean? Like that's really what's going on right now. There's a massive shift in social media, and it's all going to be for the taking, and the people who are going to make out are the ones who are using multimedia. That was a little off topic, but the point does remain, dude. If you get involved in the real world and get your hands dirty with sharks and you get those experiences and you learn, you can take those psychological trappings and you can bring them to the internet. People want to hear that shit. Yo, Phases, what's up? Phases.
Oh, hey, my bad. Yeah, first and foremost, thanks so much for hosting the space. I gather a lot from your insights.
Hey, tell me something. I'm actually very curious because I get DMs from women
Sure.
consistently that tell me all the time that they love my content, and I as somebody who does understand human psychology, I cannot for the life of me truly understand why a woman would be interested in my content, considering it's laced and infused with just max testosterone. Share with me, please.
Yeah, I think basically women just like to understand like how a man thinks, just generally. You break down like the thought process that goes behind the actions that we see.
Gotcha. That's what I figured.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, I mean, I just hopped into the space, so I'm not sure what to really discuss, but like I wanted to get your take on how a woman with like a high net worth should navigate the dating scene. As much as I would love to rest on my laurels and be like some debutante, like unfortunately, I can't do that because I'm a first generation female immigrant from a third world country. Like the hustle is in my blood. You feel me? So
And
while
you're struggling.
while I'm on my
Go ahead.
journey to being worth like 7 figures as an entrepreneur, how do I navigate romantic relationships? Because like ultimately I prioritize like one's mentality when I'm vetting for potential suitors. Like I want a guy who like sees the matrix for what it is, like someone who isn't like shocked that I'm unvaccinated. Like, you feel me? Like someone who isn't like beaten down by his boss or by capitalism, but like is on his hero mission. At the same time, like I just don't want to be seen like as a competitor because some men are definitely turned off when women earn a lot of money. I want to be viewed as this companion, like first and foremost. But like just because I'm securing the bag, like doesn't mean I'm not like demure or agreeable or resting in my femininity. So yeah, basically, like, how do I still pursue my personal aspirations without being a turnoff to a high value man?
Well, you just got a free audition in front of 600 people, so I'm sure you'll get some DMs out of this.
Okay.
So I don't think we have anything to worry about. I think you're golden.
All right, cool. Thanks for your stamp of approval.
Yep. The tennis Don, what's up, baby?
Yo, so you talked a lot about how you're unfazed by like losses in life and taking a lot of losses. I just want to know, was there ever like a moment where you felt like you were unfazed by winning? Because I feel like like winners know how to win, you know?
Dude, absolutely. All the time. I mean, now when I get wins, I'm numb to it the same way I am to the losses. It doesn't mean a fucking thing to me. I mean, it is sort of the same mechanism. But here's what's interesting. Like, if you are a winner, obviously that the goal is to win at all times. There are a lot of people who are losers who want to win so they have more to lose. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, some people want to win just so they have more to lose, so they can sort of reinforce that identity of being a loser. But when you say unfazed about winning, unpack that for me, because that's an interesting question.
Well, I just
Amplify that.
feel like winners are like know how to stay even keel, like whether it's a win or a loss, you know?
Yeah, dude. It's not like when I hit big licks nowadays, I don't celebrate. I'm extremely sang-froid, and I'm extremely cool, calm, and collected no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, bro. I the process for me is what I enjoy. I enjoy the hunt itself. Like, the winning is just gonna come. So for me, it's not really about the wins or losses on a daily basis that I measure. It's that long term, I know for a fact I'm gonna win because I always have. So the daily snapshot of where I stand doesn't really mean much to me.
Right. No, because I've been like, I mean, I've taken like, you know, a fucking boatload of losses in my life. But
You a tennis gambler?
so right now I'm not gambling actually. I trade like commodities and forex, but I am pretty good at tennis, to be honest. Like I've ran up like 4K to like 12K within like 2 months playing tennis. But yeah, no. I just feel like all like the lowest points of my life have come after a big win when I guess like I wasn't in things for the right reason. And then yeah, like it's almost like after you take that win, you're not the same person that got you to that point, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So now I'm finally at a point where like I'm winning, and like when I got that big win, I was just unfazed. Like I was so surprised like by myself because I was just like I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Were you surprised? See, I've always had this thing in my head where I think a lot of people get really excited about success because they think that once you're successful, that food tastes different, music is gonna, sound different, like that your entire life is amplified, and that's it's a huge myth. Like, if you fucking make $10 million tomorrow, steak is still steak, music is still music. Like, rich people and poor people are gonna do most of the same shit. It's not really what people think it is, and I think most people think there's this euphoric high that comes from just getting these massive windfalls and massive wins that are very sudden. I think people sort of fantasize about sudden success because they think they're going to sort of be on this high, and that's just not how it works. It's like anybody who knows, I used to have a fucking Rolls Royce. I had a Rolls Royce Dawn in 2017. It was a $500,000 fucking convertible. And when I had that car, the novelty wore off in like 2 weeks.
Right.
And it just didn't feel like anything at all. Because I'll tell you why. The same type of person you have to be successful is the same type of person who also is not going to get a cocaine high off of having a Rolls Royce.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you talked about that bodybuilder that he lifted the world record or whatever, and then he was fucking furious with himself because he didn't, or what was it? He didn't break the world record, but he won the gold medal or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Like I feel like all the winners like that I know in my life, like they just like some of them are just born with it. Like a lot of winners are just born with that. Like they like for some reason, like whenever they fucking win, like they're just able to keep on progressing. But for a lot of people, like
exactly.
athletes, like they'll make it to the league and then like they'll get into a bunch of drugs, they'll fuck a bunch of hookers, and then like within a year, like they're out of it, or like they're playing in Europe or some shit. Like there's just a difference between like a LeBron and like a guy that
Exactly, dude. Most people are surprised by their wins.
Yeah.
Like they land a beautiful woman, they land a job, like they're genuinely shocked and surprised. True winners are not shocked and surprised when they win. It's almost like drinking water. It's extremely fucking trivial. And they do it for the sake of just winning itself. That's the fucking distinction between winners and losers. Losers have their eyes on Lambos and certain metrics and shit, houses on the beach. All that shit's cool for sure. But winners are way more concerned with just the process of winning. It really doesn't really matter. Like everything else is somewhat inconsequential. I've noticed that with myself too. Like when I experience really, really fucking high class luxury things that I know 0.0001% of the population will never experience, I don't really get a kick out of it the way I did in my early 20s. I just enjoy winning. I show up every day because I just like to get what I want. It doesn't really matter what that is. And dude, here's the other thing with winners, and I really want to fucking emphasize this. If you are somebody who struggles to gratify your whims, it's going to be a very challenging life for you as a man. And what I mean by that is like the common denominator that I have noticed among very high achievers is they take very, very small things and they make them extremely important. I'll give you an example. Like if I want a fucking bone broth right now and in my head, I just decide I need a bone broth. If I go to the store down the street and they're out of it, I'm going to fucking drive 45 minutes away if I have to. I don't give a fuck what kind of traffic I'm in. I don't give a fuck if I got to use the fucking shoulder lane to get there. I am going to hunt and ruthlessly track down that fucking bone broth because I want it. Because I want it right then and there. I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. I'm not going to wait for it to come back in stock. If I want something, it has to happen right then and there. Don't give a fuck how inconvenienced I am. I will get it. I will get it. And that is a hallmark feature of people who are obsessed with winning, is that if you're a person who struggles to gratify your whims, you're probably not that guy. Like, dude, even raw cheese. Like, if I want a piece of fucking raw cheese, Jean-Charles Arnault, Comte, the greatest fucking raw cheese that was ever fucking created, and it's sold out, I'm going to go anywhere I need to. I'll fucking hop a plane to the next state to get it. I'm petty like that. I'm petty like that because if I want it, I have to have it. And like that's the kind of mentality you have to make it. But most people are just things they quit, they give up too easily. Oh, you don't have what I want in stock? No problem. I'll just order it online. I'll get it in 3 or 4 days. Dude, that's not a sense of urgency. That's not a winning mentality. When I see people dude, it's all the little shit that tells you who people are. When people are so willing to just like forego getting what they want right then and there, I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, this guy's average. Average? Yeah, it's just average. That's what ordinary people do. Other people don't take no for an answer. They just don't fucking take no for an answer. They gotta have it when they want it. And that segues perfectly into my whole topic on speeding up time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wait for shit. I do not like waiting for shit. If it's in my control and I can expedite it, I'm fucking expediting it. I'll pay whatever fee I gotta pay. Just get it to me now.
Do you think that's innate? Like, do you think like being a winner is just innate? Because I've noticed like growing up, like there's just been like very clear winners and like very clear losers. And if I'm
absolutely, I think it's innate.
But like, do you think you can mold? Because if I'm being completely honest, like I feel like I've probably been on the loser side for the most of my life, right? But I've noticed like now, now as I've gotten a bit older, like I feel like I'm like getting way more callous to winning, and I feel like that's like the sign that's telling me that I'm ready to win. You know, like
Yes. So here's how it works in the animal kingdom. Inferior, weaker animals who are not winners, what they do is they use all sorts of defense adaptations to make themselves appear as winners. You have all sorts of defenses in the animal kingdom, right? You have fish that can puff themselves up to make themselves look bigger, badder, stronger. Humans are no different. So losers have learned, it's called animal mimicry, that if they mimic and take on the posture and subsume sort of the ethos and persona of winners, I mean, that's where the whole fake it till you make it strategy comes from, right? It's taking a weaker mammal essentially, and what you're doing is you're using animal mimicry and you're mimicking the traits of somebody who's actually winning. And what happens is you do end up getting some profit from that. Like you're casting a net. There's gonna be some boons. There's gonna be some serendipity. There's gonna be some fortuitous events that fall your way from that puffery. In the animal kingdom, it's called puffery. It's what you see online. You see a lot of losers puffing themselves up, trying to be bigger than what they are. And there's obviously a profit margin there. But real winners aren't doing that. You know what I mean? Real winners are being mimicked. Real winners are being mimicked. That's why I've been so sort of contentious and hostile towards like the whole copywriting thing and the whole like marketing shit. Something just seems very inauthentic with it. It's like those guys are just studying winners all day. They're studying winners. They're like in a zoo exhibit studying a superior animal. And then what they're doing is they're transcribing the winning formula that they have observed in other people on paper to make a sale. That's just not something I'm willing to whore myself to do. I mean, I don't really look down on it. I understand it's a fucking lucrative fucking industry. Everybody's got their hands in the till right now with it. But it's a very exhibitionistic way of living. Like, do you want to be the studied or do you want to be the studier? Marketers are studiers. You're studying the habits and patterns of other people. That's all you're doing. I mean, that's just not how I want to live my life. Does that make sense? I think that's like a very raw example of like a winning losing type of individual. Not that I mean, some of those guys are printing bags for sure. But I mean, how many interesting stories do you have to tell if you're a fucking copywriter?
Right.
Seriously. Like, I mean, I can't imagine many. Which goes back to my original point. These guys think, oh, let me just secure the bag, then I'm going to go out in the real world and live my life. But let me get paid first. Dude, it's the opposite. You learn everything about the Bible. You learn everything about spirituality. You learn everything about life by living. You don't even need books. You don't even need spirituality. You're going to learn it by living. And these guys are doing it in reverse. And the consequences of that are going to be stark. They're just going to be. I mean, I can sense it. Omar, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, Brute? I appreciate it, man. So my question was, I remember a tweet that you tweeted a while back that you were like, Bruce Wayne is not really Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's actually Batman. Something like that. Like you have to develop an alter ego. So,
yeah, I said, Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Right. Yeah.
Batman is not the mask. Batman is who he really is.
Yeah, and so like what I'm asking is, I work like a pretty boring job. Like my job is like super 9 to 5, boring as fuck. And I only do it obviously to pay the bills. I make music on the side, and what I wanted to see is how can I take that right there and apply it to, I guess, my life, because I want to just get out of the 9 to 5 thing and just go full time with music and just make a full living with it. How could that be applied to that?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, look, I'm not one to sit here and bastardize and vilify anybody working a job, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I understand you got a fucking belly to feed, but here's the thing. All of your free spare time outside of that job has to be towards making that dream come true. Like all of it. All of it. You're just in that position right now. You're in a low leverage position where you can't really take care of yourself if you don't have the gig, right? So outside of that gig, you do not have time to fuck around at all. You got to be pulling all-nighters, lack of optimization, getting in the gym, staying healthy so that you can have the stress tolerance to do what you're going to make happen, man. That's why most people, it's a battle of attrition, cannot simultaneously maintain a job and make their side passion come true.
Yeah.
Because it's just a very, very arduous path that you're undertaking. It's an honorable one.
Yeah.
It's an honorable one. I couldn't do it. I had to slash everything but the dream to make my dream come true.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I'm like at a tipping point, because that's kind of what I feel, and I know that I need to do that. And I guess like I want.
Well, because here's
Yeah,
the thing, dude. No, men do not change unless they have to.
right.
That's just the bottom line. So until your back's actually against the wall, and you have some financial pressure, and if you don't perform, you're going to be out on the street. You're not going to make a miraculous change. It's just I've never seen it done. Necessity is the mother of all invention. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I've found that parable to be very true. Men do not change unless they absolutely have to. Have to. Not need to, not want to, have to. Not even need to. Have to is more powerful than need. I'll make a post about that one day. That's a fucking whole metaphysical fucking spiritual wormhole we could go down. But have to is more important than need. Because have to is the obsession. Need is breathing, eating, sleeping, fucking. Those are needs.
Right.
Have to usurps need. Have to is what makes you a madman lunatic. You know what I mean?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yo, Nicholas, what's up, man?
Brute. Appreciate you putting me on, bro. Dog, I've gone down a rabbit hole with your content since last space. And from there, I'm like discovering Michael Porfirio and everything like that. G mindset. Bro, there's so much dope shit just out there and just good opinions. But, dude, two things. One is I definitely had a question I wanted to ask you. But first thing was what you were talking about with like copywriters not having experience at all. Dude, so I'm a copywriter and I literally fucking tweeted about this yesterday where I was saying like the reason why I fucking write copy that just prints fucking cash is because I have worldly experience that you can't get in a book. You can't get it in a course. You can't get it talking to someone. Like you just have to experience it. And the story I told, we have gun shows in Arizona whenever you want to go buy a gun. And I was there once and I had this letter I was writing for, it was some sort of male performance program, like how to just become the best man possible, whatever, for your family and everything like that. And I was walking by this table and it was an ammo table. It's 4 guys. And, you know, just like your standard, just think of like your conservative kind of dudes, just wearing like, you know, MAGA hats and like they have a shirt on, don't tread on me, whatever the hell, you know? And they're sitting there talking with each other. And one of these guys, he was trying to bring up the fact that he had just gotten this like gorgeous Colt 1911. And he really wanted to bring it up in the conversation. But this other dude in that like little circle was just kind of socially unaware. He was, I don't know what it was, but he just couldn't understand that guy was trying to bring something into the conversation. And he just kept talking over him and just talking about how he has this amazing AR-15 and blah, 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 whatever, the magazine clips on it and blah, blah, whatever. And so the guy tried to bring it up like 3 separate times that he got this Colt 1911, and none of his friends really cared because this guy just kept talking about his AR-15. And I looked at this man's face and I could see 25 fucking years of just depression of this has happened so many times to him. This like trait of being soft spoken and not being able to like actually articulate yourself in a way where people listen to you and people like it commands respect. I knew instantly like that's the fucking lead right there. So the hook on the ads and the hook on the sales letter and everything was like, hey, are you tired of being the man that everyone speaks over? And it just fucking printed money, bro. It did so well.
Yeah, of course it did.
So like, this is what I'm talking, because I know there's a bunch of copywriters on here and I see a couple of them that I know as well. Like, you have to stop fucking reading the books and just go talk to people. I said this the other week that the best form of market research is get in a fucking Uber. Go for an hour and just tell the guy you're with me and just talk with the guy. And just sit there and like realize these are the normal people you're talking to. These people are scared of loss. They have normal insecurities. Like, just pick their brain and you start to understand, oh, this is just like the standard human. This is the person. Yeah.
Dude, you touched on something very important. The best copywriters aren't fucking copywriters.
Oh, man.
The best copywriters aren't copywriters.
At all.
Dude, when I wrote the copy for my course, I cannot tell you how many DMs I got. People went nuts over it. They're like, dude, where did you learn to do that copy? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
is copy?
I didn't learn a fucking thing, dude. I just spilled my guts on a page.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I did.
Yeah, dude. It's just being able to find the commonalities in the human experience that like everyone has. And when you sit there and like, especially when it's high performing people, like if you're writing for people that are higher net worth trying to grow, like you talk to these guys and you realize the problems are different than the lower level people, right? But at that level, the high performers, they all have the same problems. And the low level people, they all have the same problems. And you have to be able to explain it better than they can themselves. And the best way to do that is just fucking talk to them. I'm a master interviewer. I don't need to fucking sit and talk to ChatGPT or read or go and do new research. Like, I'm going to just go straight, hey, give me a lead list of all the people who've bought the product, and I'll just cold call the fuckers and be, hey, do you have a minute to chat real quick about the product? And just ask them about their entire life right then and there. Like, that.
100%.
So,
you just gave out a bunch of free game, bro. That hook was fire.
100%. Better have some DMs of people being like, fucking, can you coach me? And the answer is no. I don't want to. But dude, one thing I really wanted to ask you. So my roommate, he's been on Money Twitter for a lot longer than me. And he was like, oh yeah, I think Brute has a kid. Is that true?
I have a 2-year-old son.
Okay, so I really want to talk with you about this. This is like, for me, the most fascinating thing is like, how do you balance this edge of just wanting to like, bro, you just want to skull fuck the world and just dominate and crush and just go out there every single day with this like fire in your belly mentality, but then also have like the patience for like a child and being able to actually like raise them, be able to help them, sit down with them, explain them whatever they did wrong or whatever it is. Like, I'm really curious to understand your mentality of how you balance being the man that you are and the man that you want to be while also being a father, and what your experience as a father has been thus far. Cause that's like, bro, it's the number one thing for me in my life. That's my goal, is just have a fuck ton of kids.
Yeah, man. So to answer your question, I don't balance it at all because, I don't balance it. I'm just gun railing every fucking day, doing what I'm doing on my high adventures. One thing that is being a father has clarified for me is that I am not a second mother. And what I mean by that is when babies are very young, like my son is, they really fucking need their mom badly. Like, their mom is their everything. The quality time I spend with my son is at most, because dude, I literally want to blow my brains out if I cannot take care of a fucking baby all day by myself. It's never going to happen. It's just not my role. I'm telling you, as a man, you have this natural, primal, barbaric instinct that comes out if you have your balls intact, that you realize you are not designed to be sitting home playing with blocks and playing with cars with your son 8 hours a day. That's never going to happen. So what I do is the quality time that I spend with him, 1 to 2 hours a day max, is extremely fucking valuable because I'm fully devoted, fully present. My phone's down. I'm not fucking with anything. I look him in the eyes. We play together. Those are the moments that he's going to be appreciative. But dude, the father cannot be fucking sitting at home with his kids all day. It, number one, destroys your relationship at home with a woman. And number one, it's very fucking weird, dude. Kids are fucking brilliant. They know, they get it. Like, when I'm gone for long stretches of time and I don't see my son, and I do see him again, he appreciates me. They understand, dude. They're fucking geniuses. These fucking babies are geniuses, man.
So if I'm understanding correctly, it's that, you're not trying, like what you said, you're not trying to be the second mom, and that you're not trying to spend all this time with him. You still cherish the time. You still love the time, but it's more about like, being able to have that time where when I'm with him, I'm with him. I'm not doing anything else. I'm with him, but you're still on the mission. It's just that
my mission comes first. And that's ultimately where, when he gets older, he's going to respect and love me the most. Look, my son is very blessed. When he gets older, he's going to be able to see my entire fucking pantheon of work online. He's going to be able to go through my Twitter. He's going to be able to see my philosophy articulated. He's going to be able to see my manifesto. Like, that's the greatest gift I could give to my fucking son.
Yeah.
Is immortalizing my work in a way where when he's older, he can thumb through and be like, oh, this is what my dad was thinking on such and such date. Like, I'm leaving him a memorial.
Just the random post. It's like, the best thing is when someone tells you Instagram. I don't give a fuck about Instagram. Like, that's what dad was thinking on that day. I love that.
100%. So I'm just building that memoriam for him, man. And that's going to be something really cool that he can look back on and reflect on as he gets older. But yeah, dude, I mean, that whole thing about not being a second mom is fucking crucial. If you want the respect, like, yeah, you get it.
I'm curious out of here, like, is there an age that you think you're going to start spending more time with him? Like, when do you think those talks obviously not at 2 because you can't fucking understand it now. But when do you think those talks of like, son, let me show you how the fucking world works? Like, is there an age where you think that time is going to really come, or is it just kind of, I don't know, I'll figure it out
Yeah,
when it
no,
happens?
no, definitely. So I see myself as his teacher in the sense that I would never put my child in a public school. So I'm going to homeschool him for sure. So when he's about 4 or 5, that's when I'm really going to dedicate a massive chunk of my time to teaching him what a teacher would teach him. But I'm going to use my own parables and my own lessons, and I'm just going to sort of incorporate and just go on the fly and just use my own life experience to teach him. And I think that's going to be more valuable than anything else
100%.
because I am ready and prepared to allocate as much time as possible to teaching him the right way. So I'm going to fucking do that. I'm going to homeschool him myself.
Dude, that's so great. Yeah, you'll have a brute de force class. Show him your
100%.
tweets, read my tweets out loud.
He'll be on Twitter when he's 8.
Same profile pic too.
Same
Yeah.
profile pic. He'll have the fucking mohawk too.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna let someone else go, but bro, I love these spaces so much. It's so good to just hear this information and absorb it. Genuinely, dude, like there's some stuff I read it, I'm like, I don't know if I agree on that, and then I'll just sit there, I'm like, why? Why don't you just fucking question yourself and try and figure out why don't you agree with him on that? And it's been a very interesting thought and experiment. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for doing what you do, man.
Yep. Take care, bro. Cam. Let's get our boy Barry Cooper up here. Barry.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. Can't complain. Just another night. How are you?
Great, bro. Talk to us.
So, actually, I wanted to bounce off Nicholas, the copywriter who was just on, and it's about raising kids as well. I was wondering what your philosophy was for, like, in very general, raising your kid in a way that I feel like part of like who I became, who I was because I was a rebel. My parents wanted me on a strict path, so I was always rebelling, trying to do things my way. And the pain that came from the discipline, that kind of shaped me into who I was today. But when I think about raising kids, I want them to kind of go their own path. So I want to treat them like a cat. I want to give them the philosophy that like certain principles, and I want them to go their own way, but I also want to give them some sort of hardship. So I was wondering if you could like kind of bounce off that, like if you had any thoughts.
Yeah, dude. The hardship I think is absolutely key. I've wrestled with this back and forth. There's a couple different varying philosophies on this. I really do like the philosophy of dying poor and basically like if my son turns out to be the type of guy who can't create his own wealth, then he's not going to be able to manage the wealth that I give him anyway. That's just sort of how I see it. So I absolutely want to unobstruct and give him an uninhibited path towards his own journey. Like I did not have a child to make a clone of myself. I am fully aware that I had a child so that he could have his own unique experience. And I do want to foster that ethic. I do not want him to be like me. There's obviously qualities that he's going to take from me. I get that. But the central point, man, is like the hardship thing, I think does have to be interwoven. Like there's certain things that are non-negotiable for me. Like he'll probably have a fucking nice whip when he's 16 for sure. Just for fucking safety reasons and shit. I'm not going to get him a fucking beater. But besides that, man, like I 100% want him to be out there scrapping. 100% because that's how I learned. Look, I come from a single mother household. And it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because I had my rose-tinted glasses crushed very early on. I understood the reality of how relationships work between men and women. And I feel like there's some seeds, man, you just bury and they're just going to grow regardless. Like there's some forces of nature that are just born on this earth, no matter how shitty their circumstances, no matter how broken their home was. They just find a way to fucking transcend and adapt. And I'm not saying that I particularly want that experience for my son. I'm just saying I came to this conclusion the other day. I was articulating this to a buddy of mine, and I was like, look, he's like, well, what if you and your girl just, go your separate ways and he comes from a fractured home? And I was like, look, he has my genes. Like he has my fucking genes coursing through his fucking exoskeleton. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fucking fine. Like, that's where I get most of my assurance. That's how I sleep good at night. Is just, I know my son has my genes. I know he's going to be a fucking warrior. I know he's going to be a fighter. And I know no matter what life throws at him, he's going to figure out his own way. So I don't have to intervene and play God in that process. That just brings me a great deal of peace.
Okay.
Like, dude, also, like, so I'm kind of conflicted on this. Like, I'm going to do homeschooling for sure. But there's a part of me that does think the public school system is good for one reason, and that's that it's a very chaotic environment. There's a lot of different personalities, and there's bullying. There's all sorts of shit that goes on in those environments. And I do think those environments are good in the sense that it would prove to me that my son is as strong as I think he's going to be. If he could brave that environment and come out of a very chaotic, disordered, look, even the information in those schools is trash. They're poisoning the kids' minds. They're fucking teaching them about LGBT shit. Like, all that shit's nonsense. But that shit was subjected onto me, right? I was subjected to a ton of fucking garbage in school. We learn a completely wrong version of history. Everything I learned was bullshit. And it didn't stop me in my tracks. I found a way to overcome. I found a way to become self-educated. I found a way to sift through the bullshit because I was a force of nature to be reckoned with. And I just have the faith that I had that type of child. And if I didn't, I don't even think I'll be disappointed because I ultimately, man, like, I put my entire philosophy on the altar of nature. I think nature is God. I love the natural order of life. And I do believe that the strong will survive. I believe the strong will survive no matter what kind of toxicity mentally, no matter what kind of shitty. Dude, I had the worst programming, the worst mental programming you could possibly fathom as a youngster. Like, statistically, I should be dead. I shouldn't be where I'm at right now, statistically. But I just adapted and overcame. And so, like, a part of me wants to throw him in a fucking public school for a couple years just to see how fucking durable he is and if he can figure out his own way and detect what's bullshit and what's not. A part of me really does want to give him that experience because it was very powerful for me, even though it was a mistake. You know, like, mine was an accident. My parents put me through that shit and it was a complete accident. But none of the propaganda stuck. None of it stuck. I knew it was bullshit when I was sitting in fucking algebra class. I knew what I was learning was nonsense.
Yep, it's like that. It's like that middle ground where you want to give them resources to strive, but you don't want to hand everything to them. But you also want them to throw them in the arena, and like,
Of
I don't know how
course.
to really describe it, but it's like kind of
I
that.
want him to play the game, and when he's on a schoolyard, you know, with a bunch of other fucking kids who come from different races and creeds and fucking denominations, that's playing the game. That's playing the game. And so I don't want to rob him of that experience. So a part of me most likely will probably make a move like that at some point. I'm just going to have to because I have to know that I have to test his mettle. I can't, what I won't do, dude, is fucking mollycoddle my child. That's what I won't do.
100%. Yeah, I definitely agree.
It's a great fucking question, bro.
Yep. Thank you for hosting these.
Yep. Take care, brother. Let's get Iron Will up here.
Hey, Brew, how you doing?
What's up, bro?
Quick question based on, what you're talking about before in terms of relationships. Do you think, or in a sense, how would you define friendship? In terms of, is it acquaintances, is it a sphere of influence, or is it, people you just bullshit with?
Man, that's a great question. So friendships, I do believe in the ethic that everybody has to pull their own weight. In other words, I cannot be friends with somebody who cannot pull the same kind of weight I can pull. Does that make sense? Whether it's even financially, like, if there's a common theme in successful circles, people who have money do not like being friends with people who don't have money because they pull everybody down. Sounds shallow on the surface, but it's not once you dig deeper. I believe that every friend sort of has a responsibility to kind of toe the tide, and like, you have to have people that are very, very, very cut from a similar cloth of yourself. Like it's very hard to step down socioeconomically and be true friends with somebody long term. It's tough. It's
Mm-hmm.
tough. Not saying you can't shoot the shit, not saying you can't crack a cigarette and have a fucking amazing conversation. Of course you can. But that's more of an acquaintance. The people that I'm willing to die for are people that are at a reasonable level of talent that's similar to my own, if that makes sense.
Definitely does. In terms of, other relationships, let's say women, I think in a lot of senses, especially with a lot of friends, it starts off as tabula rasa. Do you think when it comes to women and those things, do you build that up through detail and, really writing down everything that needs to be done? Or do you think it's more inherent towards just the man that you are?
Towards the man that you are. I've never had, so it's by example. Women can clearly see that I have a very strong, robust physique. I'm healthy. My eyes are fucking, my eyes are fucking egg white. I'm just like, my hair's fucking healthy. I'm a fucking portrait of health. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman I have ever dated, going back maybe 16, 17 years, has always, without me prompting them, replicated my diet to a T. They start eating carnivore. They stop drinking. They stop fucking eating fried foods. They want to eat and they want to comport their lifestyle to very, very closely mimic my own. They start sitting out in the sun with me. They were scared of the sun before. Like a woman will 100% mirror you to a T if your leadership is fucking strong. Like, I'll give you a great example. This is my greatest metric when people come to me with relationship problems. And it's a very simple one. It's a very simple one. If your woman, from my perspective, does not follow you on your lifestyle stuff, it's not a relationship that's going to last because
Mm-hmm.
the respect isn't there.
Right.
Doesn't mean she doesn't have her own hobbies. That's nuanced, right? There's certain shit she's gonna do on her own, but the core lifestyle should 100% be mimicked without you prompting it. Like I've never had to tell them to eat healthier. They just start eating what I eat, and then it's fucking hilarious. We'll be at restaurants, and they'll be educating the server on what kind of oils they don't want. They'll be literally be sounding like me when they talk about food and shit, and it's fucking
Yeah,
hilarious. But that's just kind of the best barometer, dude. Is your woman actually fucking following your footsteps because she sees what you're doing is so effective?
absolutely. And touching on that, could you touch real quick on what your diet's like right now?
Yeah, so I'm on steak and eggs every morning right now. I do like a hanger or like a flank steak. I do about 12 eggs. I don't do raw. I scramble them. Sometimes I do poached. Then I go work out. I skip lunch and then I just eat a massive dinner, which is basically just like unlimited steak, pork. Sometimes I'll do raw cheese, raw milk. But yeah, dude, I mean, I'm pretty much heavy carnivore. Actually, I've been adding in skinless potatoes lately because
Mm.
I've been training like a fucking monster lately because I want to snatch 300 pounds again.
So
And
you find like having a lack of carbs doesn't really affect you in the gym?
honestly, no, because when I'm strict carnivore and I don't have carbs, I am about 80% fat. I'm eating really, really fucking fatty beef.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it's crazy. So if you don't have carbs, you have to up the fuck out of the fats in order to get the energy. I feel great. I mean, dude, I lifted big ass fucking weight for years with no carbs. Here's
Yeah,
the
I've been
thing
running
though.
those.
I notice when I add in any carbs at all, even potatoes, my joints hurt a little bit for sure. There's some inflammation there on some of that glucose. Like I'm pretty sensitive to sugar. So like any sugar that I consume at all, I'll definitely after a hard lifting session, I'll feel some aches and pains and shit in my joints. But if I stay strict carnivore, my systemic inflammation is so low that I actually don't feel any pain at all, dude. And it's right away. My body's so sensitive because my insulin sensitivity is so good because I'm healthy. As soon as I eat a fucking potato, like 2 hours later, I'll notice like my fucking lower back has like a fucking pang in it or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just instant inflammation.
And final question in terms of books, I know you've touched a little bit on kind of the ones that have changed you the most. I'm getting through Atlas Shrugged right now, which I feel like mimics a lot of things that you say. You have any deep recommendations?
Yeah, Ayn Rand is amazing, dude. I fuck with her philosophy big. I don't know, dude. Camille Paglia has some really fucking interesting shit too. I would get into her. She's fucking good. I don't know, dude. I've read all that shit. I've read fucking Dostoevsky, Tolstoy. Never really got into the French existentialists. The Germans are fucking good. Nietzsche. I don't know, man. I was in the library for many years, just picking up random fucking books, and I would just fucking devour them. I actually really like a lot of Richard Dawkins shit.
Yeah, those books are dense as fuck. I'll check that out. Yeah.
Climbing Mount Improbable is a fucking phenomenal book. There's another really fucking obscure book that's really old called A Rabors. It means against the grain. It's by a guy named J.K. Huisman. That's a really fucking heady book. And if you really want like a heady fucking book, you read Moby Dick. Moby Dick is the American Iliad, and I'll tell you, like, most people that read Moby Dick get eliminated within the first 20 pages because it's so fucking dense, and the references are so absurd that you actually do have to look them up. That guy was a fucking genius, Melville. But yeah, dude, Moby Dick was actually probably the best book I've ever read, just from a syntax perspective. The way that guy fucking structured sentences, he invented words. There's a lot of portmanteaus in there. It's just a fucking beautiful work of art. I'm trying to think of some other ones, man. Fucking Iliad is a must read. The Iliad is a fucking must read. It's got the entire masculine ethos. Is all within the pages of that book. And then, I mean, yeah, man, you're gonna have to cop mine when mine comes out.
Dude, absolutely, that's on the list for sure. I appreciate it.
Yep. Yo, Tyler.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. What's up, brother?
Hey, sorry, I was on mute there. I don't know why it automatically puts me on mute. Yes, quick question for you, brother. So I've been, like some other guys have said before, I've been listening to all your spaces, following your tweets and everything. Love the philosophy, love the fire. Just wanna be straightforward with my stuff. I've usually played it safe in life, whether it's business, work, et cetera, et cetera. I guess what would be the one thing above all else if you wanted to stop playing it safe and really just grab life by the balls, kind of like how you do?
Give me more examples of how you're playing it safe. Like afraid to spend? Are you afraid to
I would say
get
that.
rejected?
I would say afraid to spend. It would definitely be one. Maybe you get the Hyundai Elantra instead of the Rolls Royce like you do. Something like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, financial pressure is the greatest mechanism in the current society where a man can grow. Financial pressure is where a man is going to find out who he is very fucking quickly. So what I would say, and this is, again, a sort of a more dangerous philosophy, you could say, but it's I promise you numbers won't kill you, bro. Numbers will not kill you. I would take on more financial responsibility and take on more financial burdens because it forces you to not only earn more money, but it forces you to really analyze these things that are holding you back. Like there's nothing wrong with putting more on your plate and taking on more responsibility and making yourself very uncomfortable because primates love a good scrap. And when your back is against the wall, you're going to go for the fucking jugular. And that's how it should be.
Gotcha.
So take on more fucking financial pressure, bro. Go fucking acquire some fucking assets. Spend some fucking money that makes you uncomfortable. And then sit with that for a second. And then understand that you're going to be furious to reclaim what you just lost. And then maybe it'll whip you up into a fucking frenzy. And you'll turn into sort of a berserker. And you'll fucking go get a fucking side income. Or maybe you'll fucking build a bigger business. Whatever it is, dude. You never, ever, ever will evolve or change until you put pressure on yourself. And unfortunately, we live in a society where no one's going to do it for you. You have to orchestrate these things yourself. You have to subject yourself to it because society is so easy. We have all the technology, dude. Like you're never really going to die in this world if you fail. You're just really not.
Right. I think it's just you have you get set in certain routines. You get comfortable. I think that's really the main word. You get comfortable, and it's like you got to find a way to like lit a fire up on your ass and go put that pressure on yourself, kind of like what you said. I guess how would you go about that?
Well, you want to be tested right now, is what you're telling me. You're a man who has not really tested your limits or capabilities. So you're sort of wrestling with the fact that you really don't know who you are, because you don't really know who you would become if you put yourself in a very high pressure situation. See, here's the thing. Most people will not take a huge leap of faith or take a huge risk in life, not because they're afraid if they fail, they're going to starve to death or die, or how am I going to pay my bills? None of that truly matters when it comes down to it. What people are afraid of is, who do I now have to become to get myself out of the situation that I'm in?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's scary as fuck. Who am I going to become? You might come out of the other side of that pressure a completely different version of yourself that has been previously unknown to you. You might develop characteristics and fangs that you didn't even know you fucking had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's extremely fucking terrifying for most men. That's why they don't go after their dreams, because who the fuck are you going to be on the other side? You don't know until you get there.
Right. So
You
you
don't
think
know.
like it's the uncertainty of it?
Of course.
Yeah.
You have no clue, because you have no clue the kind of man you're going to have to be to rise to that call, because you're going to have to change. If I put a ton of pressure on you right now,
Mm-hmm.
a ton of it, and I tell you, listen, if you don't build a business by tomorrow and get something up and get a fucking sale on a call,
Right.
in 2 days you're going to be on the street.
Right.
How fast do you think you're going to make that first sale?
Right. It's like I almost
I
wish.
guarantee you will.
It's like I almost wish, like, you know, I used to be in a sales job, and we used to have this joke, like, I wish somebody would come like into your room each day, put a gun to your head, and be like, "Listen, motherfucker, like if you don't get a sale today, if you don't close a deal, I'm coming back." You know, it's like you almost need that fire
Exactly.
sometimes.
Exactly. And winners do have that proverbial gun at their head every day.
Right.
That's why they're so good, because losing is so miserable and feels so fucking terrible to them that they have no choice. They have to stay ahead of the game every fucking day, because they hate being average that much.
Right. And now, one other thing with that, so when you say hate being average that much, is that something that you think every man or every person that's an innate characteristic, or do you think it's just some people have it, some people don't?
No, I think all men, if you asked any man on a survey, I think every single man would say that they hate being average, for sure.
Yeah.
What happens is I think guys don't really do what I'm telling you to do. They don't put enough pressure on themselves. And then what happens is they fall into these packs of other men that are also average, and they feel comfortable there because there's invisibility there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not really going to ruffle any feathers. No one's really going to trample on you. If you're in a big pack of guys when you're out, you're not really going to get into a fight. You're not really going to get chicks either, but at least you're safe, because you're just within your in-group.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think most guys kind of fall when they give up on life. They become invisible. They just want to be invisible. They don't want to step on anybody's toes, but they don't want their toes stepped on either. And they don't want to be in the hot seat.
Right.
They don't want to be accountable to anybody, and they just kind of give up, and that's their life. Pretty much their life story kind of ends there.
Gotcha.
So, dude, it's all pressure, man. Everything is fucking pressure. Everything is pressure for a man. It's all fucking pressure. Dude, there are guys before your morning coffee is done being brewed that have to fucking get on 10 hysterical, nasty, nauseating phone calls. Businesses are blowing up. Nasty divorces. Cars are being fucking repoed. They're getting this fucking house foreclosed on. And guess what? Before you've even fucking taken a sip of coffee, these motherfuckers have extinguished 5 fires.
Yeah.
And they're in the game, and their guns blazing, and they're finding a way to be happy, and they're carving out happiness for themselves because they're winners, and they know they're going to be okay. They know they're going to be okay, even though everything's fucking falling apart. But that's the pressure that makes them respond. They wake up every day. They're alive. They have the fucking fire burning in their heart because they have a bunch of fires to put out. That's why I've always said, if you're a guy in the position that you're in, dude, you have to start some fires. You have to start some fires, ignite some fires. Because guess what a fire is? A fire draws attention. Then all of a sudden, you're trying to put out the fire. Then guess what? You got loved ones, you got family, you got friends you can recruit to help you put out that fire.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a business because you got a team. Now other people are interested in helping you put out the fire. So you got to start some fucking fires, dude. You got to be an arsonist. You know, metaphorically, like you got to be an arsonist. You got to fucking start some fires. And then that's gonna just kick you in a completely different gear, and you will become an entirely different fucking man.